Good morning everyone. Today we'll start with the chapter the circulatory system. So the first question is that what is the need for transport inside our body? So every organ in our body requires the involvement of circulating body fluids. If we take the case of digestive system, it digests and absorbs the food which are needed to be transported to the every body cell, because energy is required. Every body cell needs energy. Similarly, through our respiratory system, we inhale air and exhale air. So these gases are to be transported. Oxygen is to be transported to all the body parts. The waste or the excess of water, salts from a body, they need to be removed from a body. Hormones which are secreted by the endocrine system, they need to be circulated in the throughout the body, which is done by the help of the blood. So all these functions which are there, they are performed by the fluids, the circulating fluids. Those fluids we'll discuss one by one. So in our body there are three types of fluids, mainly three types of fluids: the blood, tissue fluid and lymph. First we'll discuss about blood. Now the blood is never stationary. It is always in motion from the heart to the arteries and back through the veins. The color of the blood, if we consider, it is bright red in the arteries and dark red in the veins. Usually in your books, in the veins, the deoxygenated blood is depicted by blue color. This is just to demarcate between the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood. Otherwise, the deoxygenated blood is always dark red in color. Now the volume, if we consider, an average human adult contains 5 to 6 liters of blood by volume in the body, and the blood tastes saltish. So the pH of the blood ranges from 7.3 to 7.45. So you all know that pH 7 is considered as neutral, and if pH is less than 7, then it is considered as acidic, and if pH is more than 7, then it is considered as alkaline. But in this case, if we'll see, it is slightly alkaline because 7 is neutral and 7.3 to 7.45 is the pH of the blood. So it is slightly alkaline. Now we'll discuss about the functions of the blood. There are two main functions of the blood. One is transport by the blood and the second is protection by the blood. Now how the transport by the blood takes place? Now first, if we consider, the transport is of digested food. See, from the alimentary canal to the tissues, the transport of the food is taking place. These substances include your sugars, amino acids, vitamins. These all are transported with the help of blood. Then next is the transport of oxygen. Now the oxygen from the lungs to the tissues, the transport is taking place. It occurs by the red blood cells. Now you all know that the red blood cells, they contain hemoglobin, which is a very unstable compound in the form of oxyhemoglobin. So when hemoglobin combines with oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin. This oxyhemoglobin is unstable. So when it reaches the tissues, there the breakdown occurs. This oxyhemoglobin breaks down. It delivers the oxygen to the tissues and hemoglobin is left. So the oxygen is delivered to the various tissues with the help of the oxyhemoglobin, which is an unstable compound. Next, the transport of carbon dioxide also takes place. Now a similar way, the hemoglobin which is present, it combines with carbon dioxide. and it forms carb amino hemoglobin. Carb amino hemoglobin is formed. So in this, what happens from the tissues to the lungs? It occurs partly the combination of the hemoglobin and the carbon dioxide. It occurs in the blood plasma, and there the carbon dioxide is delivered to the lungs, from where we exhale out, and hemoglobin is left behind. Next, we have the transport of the excretory substances. In your previous chapter, in the excretion, you have studied that the tissues have any waste products they are transported to the liver, then the kidneys or the skin. So from there they are eliminated from the body. These tissues transport these waste materials with the help of blood. Then the distribution of hormones. The endocrine glands, they release various hormones directly into the blood, and from there the blood transport these hormones to the target organs or the various body parts. Then the distribution of the heat takes place. The blood helps in keeping the temperature of the body uniform. It helps in regulating the body temperature. Last, we have the protection. Now, how the blood helps in protection? See, if we get a cut, suppose I get a cut on my finger, so afterwards you will see that there is a clot formation or the callus formation takes place. What happens is the blood helps in the formation of clot whenever there is a cut in the blood vessel. See, the clot serves to prevent, when there is a cut and clot formation takes place, so first of all it will prevent the further loss of the blood. It will stop the blood from oozing out. And second, wherever the cut is there, it will prevent the disease causing germs to enter our body through that cut by the formation of a clot. So this is how the blood helps in the protection. Then in the blood, you all know that we have WBCs, the white blood corpuscles. These corpuscles, they also act as the soldiers of a body. So these white blood corpuscles or the WBCs, they protect the body from diseases. Any foreign substances, if enters our body like bacteria, they will engulf that bacteria and prevent our body from diseases. And the blood, they also produce antibodies and antitoxins. They neutralize these poisonous substances and kill the germs which enter our body. So the germs which enter our body, the antibodies, they will act against them and prevent the body from these foreign substances. I hope the functions of the body is clear. Functions of the blood is clear. Thank you.